Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be telling you how to write a persuasive letter. What exactly does the word persuade mean? Persuade means to convince someone to do something, like in an advertisement, to believe you or change their mind about a decision they're about to take. Basically anything which tells a person to do, say, or change anything. Now, there are lots of other phrases or words you can use instead of persuade to. Have, come, ask to, make, induce to, compel, direct to, enjoin to, cause to, request to, and get to. Now, how to persuade? This all is the word persuade, P-E-R-S-U-A-D-E, persuade. Now, P, pull your audience in with an interesting hook in your introduction. E, explain your point of view. R, reasons will help your audience be persuaded. S, sway your audience. U, use convincing language. A, address possible alternative points of view with reasons to counteract them. D, deliver a strong message that is repeated in the conclusion. E, entice your readers with proper word choice and sentence structure. Now, over here, if any of you are getting confused what they mean by audience, meaning, for example, if you're writing to an office, a company, or whoever you're writing to, they are your audience. If they wrote audience because it can be more than one person, it can be like any, like a boss or something like that, alright? Anybody like that, whoever you want to persuade. Usually persuasive letters are like not written to family or friends. They're just written informal. So informal persuasive letters, well, I don't think there's a thing like that, alright? There are just many types of letters. One is formal letter, one is informal letter, and one is a persuasive letter. Some persuasive words and phrases. Here are some words. Famous, fruitful, educational, fascinating, magnificent, several, pleasant, beautiful, admirable, extraordinary. Now, here in bold, over here it's written sentence, and here you could see mini phrases which you have to write about after the sentence, and this is another part of the sentence, like whatever you write from here, then you write this part and then one of these words, okay? Now let me explain why you should let me, take me, buy me, give me, help me, because I promise, need, think, believe, want to, need, love. Now here are some other phrases. Just write these phrases and you can write whatever, like the reason and stuff like that. I think it is very important too. I do hope that you agree too. I think it will be a great idea or a good idea if... What is a persuasive letter? Any letter written to persuade an individual or an organization towards accepting the sender's issue, interest, or perspective. Features of a persuasive letter. They should use standard English, no use of friendly or chatty language, must be formal, use connectives, example, in addition, first of all, etc. Now, I just want to clear any confusions if you guys are having any, that when they say no use of friendly or chatty language, they mean like when you're chatting with our friends on the phone or laptop or stuff like that, we are just saying like, hi, we're using abbreviations and we're not exactly formal. We break up our sentences and we're not usually clear in what we're saying. So that's what they mean by chatty language, and they must be formal. Formal meaning like no, hey, or hi, or stuff like that. If you don't know how to even write a formal letter, go check out my video how to write a formal letter on this channel. Okay, like let me repeat the last one. Use connectives, example, in addition, first of all, just like in beginning of your paragraphs or in between two paragraphs and stuff like that. How to persuade in a letter. Start your main concern in the first few sentences. Emphasize your request in each paragraph. Avoid overlong sentences. It should be formal but polite, logical, and factual. Give as much as information and reason to support your request as possible. Support your request in every paragraph and give logical reasons to support your request. Close the letter by restating your request. Now start your main concern in the first few sentences, meaning in the introduction, like if you have seen my video how to write a formal letter, you might have noticed that in my first paragraph, in the example area, in my first paragraph, I just told the reason why I'm writing the letter. But sometimes, if you want to, and just make the letter a bit more full and factual and everything, you should write your concern also a little bit. Start 1 or 2 reasons, small reasons in the first few sentences or in your introductory paragraph. Emphasize your request in each paragraph, meaning that in every paragraph you write, you should not stop discussing your request. Avoid overlong sentences. Basically, your sentences shouldn't be too long. It should be formal but polite, logical and factual. It should be logical, it should be full of facts, it should be polite but formal. Give as much as information and reason to support your request as possible. So I don't think you guys need any explanation for this. Support your request in every paragraph and give logical reasons to support your request. Like the first part of this reason or point is just same as emphasize your request in each paragraph and give logical reasons to support your request. Like it shouldn't be that when you say logical reasons, they basically mean that not only you are getting the benefit for whatever you are trying to persuade the other person about, except that they or anybody else is also getting benefit. Like if you want to promote your country, for example, you're writing this to any organization who makes community buildings, and like you're requesting them to start an organization for orphans or homeless people, feed them and train them, give them simple education, and a whole organization for that. And so that's just logical reasons that not only you are getting the benefit, like you are helping everybody else, you're having a good deed, but other people are also gaining benefit, like the poor people, the orphans and homeless people. And close the letter by stating your request. Like for example, my request for I gave to make the organization for the poor people, that they feed them and everything. So I'm going, for example, I can write in my last paragraph that I do hope that you think it's a great idea to start an organization to help homeless people, orphans, and poor people, so they can live their life and live their life happily, gain basic education, and start to earn money and become independent. Now, as you can see here, your words are just the key, and the key you need to find the perfect types of words and persuading skills yours to open the other person's mind to your request and, well, you could say accept your request. Or in this pink image you can see here, this microphone is you, this sound or voice is your persuasion, and this brain is the person who you want to persuade. Now, examples of persuasive writing. Introduction. Examples for persuasive essays or letters or basically anything persuasive. Now, weak meaning, for example, this is the introduction. So if you start your letter off like this, you can, but it's best if you don't, because it's pretty weak and your request might not be accepted. Here's a weak example. There are a lot of problems with our community's recreation center. Here's a stronger one for the same sentence. Due to its lack of resources, our recreation center does not provide the kind of kid-friendly services our community needs. And here's another weak one for the same introduction, but a second, third, or fourth sentence. Weak. Our recreation center was built in 1965. Strong. Because our recreation center is over 40 years old, it lacks many facilities our community need. It's time to renovate the Oakwood Recreation Center. This is just an example. Okay. Main paragraph with reasons. The main paragraph basically holds the persuasion, its reasons and facts. Conclusion for persuasive writing. A good conclusion sums up your main point and restates the statements in a new way. When ending a persuasive essay or letter or anything persuasive, leave your audience with more to think about or include a call to action in which you urge the reader to do something. So basically, a good conclusion, you have to restate your request and just try to give a reason which you have not mentioned before, or if you have mentioned a reason and you think that if you mention it again, the audience might be persuaded by it, you should mention it again except in other words. Okay, now planning the letter. Now, of course, I show you in every one of like these writing skills and things like that. There's always a brief making of the letter, and you can just grab a paper and pencil and write it like this. Now, the topic, you should first write the topic at the top. My topic is kids should get 10 extra minutes for lunch break. You should have a total of 3 brief reasons which are going to explain more. Reason 1. Let students eat their entire lunch. Reason 2. Students will be able to complete personal matters. Reason 3. Students have a little extra time to relax. Now, I know when I'm reading these out to you, the reason 3 doesn't seem much interesting or good or anything, but after the second 2 reasons and the logical support I'm going to give for these reasons, I will basically make you want to give students 10 extra minutes for lunch break. Now, reason 1 was let students eat their entire lunch. Students won't have to rush in eating their food. Less food will be wasted and students won't leave lunch tables hungry or lunch areas hungry. Now, reason 2. Students will be able to complete personal matters. Students will be able to use the restroom and will create less class disturbance. Students can complete classwork or finish writing notes. And students can ask teachers questions for, well, anything if they don't understand, except especially when the exams are coming near and they don't have time at any time, because obviously you're preparing for the exams in all of the lessons, and so the teacher is just giving you questions and you have to answer them, so you basically don't get any time to do that. So you can ask teachers questions in the little extra minutes you have in lunch break. In reason 3, students have a little extra time to relax. Students can discuss and talk so they don't feel the need to during class. They can prepare their things. They can mentally prepare for the next lesson so they can do their best. Contents and layout of the letter. Your address should be the first thing. The date should be the second. The company's or office address should be the third. Formal greeting should be fourth. First paragraph should be the sixth thing. Your second paragraph should be the seventh thing. The second paragraph should be the sixth thing. The seventh thing should be the third paragraph. The eighth thing should be the formal ending, and your name should be the ninth thing. Now, this is part of the letter contents. First, your address. Your address is very important because if the company office you're writing to needs to write you back, they will need to know your address. Your address should be aligned on the right or at the top right of the corner. First, you should write your house number, your street number or name. Well, if you don't really need, it's best if you mention your street, but writing your house number is not that important. but it's best if you do write it. Your district number or name, your city name, and your country name. Okay, letter contents. You should have to write the date under your address. The date is important. Now, like this, house number 9, Zahab Street, Safa District, Riyadh, KSA, and the date, 27th of July, 2018. Letter contents. Receiver's address. The company address is just as important as yours, as a postman needs to know who to deliver the letter to. The company office's address should be left aligned, like Mr. Peter, the person you're writing to. If you know the name, you may write. If you do not know the name, you may write just the manager, CEO, or etc. Base at school. The company office's name, Riyadh, the city in which the company office is in, and KSA, the country in which the city in which the company office is in. I'm just saying that to be really specific. Letter contents. Formal greeting. You need to write a formal greeting such as Dear Sir or Madam or Mr. Peter, as in my letter. Remember that if you know the name, you should write it. Letter contents. The first paragraph. Example, I, Arwan Deem, think that students should be given 10 extra minutes during lunch break. Now, letter contents. The second paragraph. Example, like first, the second paragraph should have your detail and reason for what you're persuading the person for. Now, example, first of all, students can finish their lunch, so they won't have to rush in eating, leave hungry, or waste food. In addition, students can use the restroom so they don't create disturbance during class. They can complete their classwork or finish writing notes. They can also ask teacher questions. Students can relax and talk so they don't feel the need to do during class. They can clean up and prepare their things as well as their mind for the next lesson. Link your sentences in paragraphs. Some linking words. Use words showing similarity. In addition, coupled with, similarly, furthermore, additionally, likewise, moreover, like, also, by the same token, of course. Words showing sequence. Eventually, whenever, first, second, third, prior to, until now, as soon as, when, as long as, sooner or later, until in time. Words showing difference. Although, despite, conversely, however, nevertheless, even though, after all, in spite of, on the other hand, on the contrary, yet. Word showing cause, effect, if, / then, in the event that, in case, since, because, in order to, with this in mind, due to, as a result, consequently, therefore. Words showing conclusion, finally, as can be seen, given these points, in summary, in conclusion, to sum it up, in the long run, in fact, overall, all in all, consequently. Word showing examples. For example, in other words, specifically, for instance, as an illustration, namely, like, notably, to demonstrate, in fact, such as. Letter contents. Number 7. Third paragraph. The third paragraph is like a conclusion. It would be an ending in a story. Here is an example of a third paragraph. I await for a positive reply from your side on giving students 10 extra minutes of lunch break. Thank you for your time. Now, if you might have noticed, if you were sort of memorizing the points, you might have noticed that I am restating my request over here. And just to make the third paragraph a bit more formal, I wrote, thank you for your time, meaning the time they took in reading the letter. Letter contents. Number 8. A formal ending. The formal ending is just as important as the greeting. Here's an example. Yours sincerely. Letter contents. Your name. Your name is very important. Example, Arwan Nadeem Khan. Result, when you put everything together. House number 9, Zahab Street, Safa District, Riyadh, KSA, 27th of July, 2018. Mr. Peter, Mayside School, Riyadh, KSA. Dear Mr. Peter, I, Arunadeem, think that students should be given 10 extra minutes during lunch break. First of all, students can finish their lunch so they don't have to rush in eating, leave hungry, or waste food. In addition, students can use the restroom so they don't create disturbance during class. They can complete their classwork or finish writing notes. They can also ask teachers questions. Students can relax so they don't feel the need to do during class. They can clean up and prepare the things as well as their mind for the next lesson. I'll wait for a positive reply from your side on giving students 10 extra minutes of lunch break. Thank you for your time. Yours sincerely, Arunadeem Khan. Okay, now your letter is ready. Now make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, like, share, and comment. Now I also hope that you guys now know how to write a persuasive letter. Please do subscribe, like, hit the bell, comment, share. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.